Good morning, everyone. My name is Dave Williams, and I'm the principal agent and CEO here at 843 Benefits and Health Marketplace. Today, I wanted to do a walkthrough of the ABRA Benefit system, which is one of the alternative benefit platforms that we use here to help businesses generally who are under 50 employees and are not needing any ACA reporting to get themselves set up on benefits. It's a very easy system to look at. There's not a whole lot of integrations like we have with Employee Navigator, which a lot of our employees actually like because it makes it very easy to work through. It's very customizable, and we can create a lot of different messaging and customize the experience for a lot of the employees. So anyway, I just want to show you that system really quick. When you get into the 843 Benefits website, you'll click the client login page, and that'll bring up our two software platforms that we use. We're going to use ABRA Benefits, which you'll click on. From there, you're going to get a little pop-up window that shows you your user ID and password, which is based on an algorithm of your first initial, last name, date of birth, and social. All of that you can change once you log in, but this is an easy way of creating a login once you're added into the system by your HR administrator. We've already got one logged in, so we're going to skip this and jump right over to the page where we jump in as a test employee. This particular company is something we're working with here in Charleston called Quick Sort RX, and they do a really nice job with their benefits. And I'm going to show you kind of what all this stuff does and how to work through it. So on the top of it, you're going to see your breakdown on employer contributions for both a defined contribution plan and for the medical plan. We can separate these out on the system. We use the DC plans a lot to provide kind of a benefit buffet. And this is something we cannot do on Employee Navigator. So a lot of times an employer will contribute 50 or $100 a month to the supplemental benefits and just let the employees pick and choose from a wide selection that you can see here on the side of a lot of different supplemental offers. You also see the pre and post-tax deductions, so you know what's coming out of your paycheck, both on a pre-tax and a post-tax basis. When you first log in, you're going to get this about you question where you're going to have to come in and just make sure your address is correct and current. And this is super important to make sure cards get delivered. And anytime you're getting looked up by a provider, you want to make sure your date of birth is correct. Same thing on dependents, which you can click on the side. You can pull them up. Make sure you're entering the correct date of birth and social for everybody, because again, this feeds automatically to all the carriers. And if it's wrong here, it's going to be wrong with the carriers as well. And that always causes problems. When you are, oops, let's see here. Let me jump back in here again. I closed off the wrong page. When you're going through, you also have the option to manage an account. So you can click on the left-hand side here, and this is where you can change that username and password. You can make it to whatever you want it to be. If you ever forget what your username password is, we can reset it, but it's going to go back to that default algorithm for everybody. So keep track of that if you can, but if not, just shoot us an email if you're getting stuck logging in, and we can go from there. When it gets into the benefits, just like Employee Navigator, it's going to walk through these options step by step. This does a nice job of providing a side-by-side comparison without even having to kind of pull up the specific benefits of the plan. So we can see the cost depending on what type of enrollment we want to do. There's also a SBC guide here on the bottom. So these little blue links will pull up the actual summary of benefits and coverage from each one of the plans if you want to get into the specifics of it. And as you make your elections, you choose whatever you want. You can see who is covered when you're choosing employee, spouse, and children. And just in case somebody in your family has other coverage, you can eliminate one person if you needed to by unchecking the box here on the bottom, which is a kind of a nice feature in case somebody is covered by another family member that might be part of another group somewhere. But anyway, when you finish, you'll click Save and Continue. Sometimes you'll get these questions at the end, generally just kind of some crossing your T's, dotting your I's kind of stuff. But you'll work through each one of these benefits. You'll have dental. You can see, again, the summary is built in here for dental. You can see the costs on the side. There's normally a very basic breakdown of what the plan looks like. But again, to get into the specifics, you want to click on the summary. And then we go through vision, short-term disability, long-term disability. Under voluntary life, again, we have a slider bar, which will change based on where the guaranteed issue amount is. And every plan, every carrier, every group is sometimes a little different here. And in this case, you have $100,000 of guaranteed issue, which is kind of nice. That means without having any medical tests, blood tests, any kind of exams, you can get $100,000 of life insurance. And if you go beyond that, you get this little red line saying, hey, we need to make sure you're underwritten for that. And so you'll get a separate evidence of insurability form to get that part approved. Again, as you go through it, checking whatever you want, you go to the end, you click save and continue. It'll also give you the option of adding beneficiaries and making sure all that stuff is correct. And you'll check off the bottom for that. Again, a little definition at the bottom there. As you go through everything, once you are finally done, you'll get this review and complete enrollment page. You're not all the way done when you're on this page, but it does give you a good summary of when the effective date for all your coverages would be. It shows you the total costs. Then as you scroll down, you'll also see what the employer contribution is. And it's nice to see what the employer contribution is because it's an important and expensive part of being a business owner. And it's great that employees can actually see how much the employer is contributing to them on a per paycheck basis, just to kind of understand what that total compensation looks like. And you'll also see that because I took voluntary life in excess of the guaranteed issue amount, there's a pending benefit of $50,000 that we need to work through. And that's something that we will send information to you directly to get taken care of and updated. Once you're done with it, you check off a box saying that you understand this is your qualifying event and you're allowing the pre and post-tax deductions to take place on your paycheck. Click the big green complete enrollment button. And from there, you get a little spinning circle and then you should be all done. So when you finally get out of it, you're going to have this last page here, which shows all of your elections. And again, your contributions from the employer, the effective dates, your pre and post-tax amounts. I can move that around to see what those look like down there. And this is also the page that if you ever log back in to the system during the course of the year, this is the page that'll come up. So whether you're on your phone or on your computer, you can come back and get to these employee guides very easily. Just click on the link and it'll pull up the benefit summary of the plan that you're on. Not all of them, but just the ones that you're elected coverage in. So it's a really easy system for being able to come back and verify your coverage if you get to a provider and you need to see what they have. In this case, this loading slowly, so we're going to close this and get out of it and try a different summary next time. But anyway, those summaries will pop up for you when you're logging back in again and make it easy for you to get back to your coverage. So when you're done with that, all you got to do is click off and it'll go away. And one last thing, if you're on this page and you're coming back over the course of the year and you need to make changes, so let's say you finished open enrollment and it's 6 months later and you've moved, or you got married or you've had a baby, you click on the make changes button here on top and you'll be able to come back into the system and make those updates. Because it's open enrollment right now, you're not getting asked for any questions. But if you were in the middle of a plan year, it would ask you to kind of choose the certain qualified life event. So anyway, that is going to be our quick little review for you guys on the ABRA login system. Hopefully that's a helpful little tutorial and guide for getting you through it. If you have any questions whatsoever, feel free to reach out to us at dave@843benefits.com or use our book online tool and just kind of schedule a meeting whenever it's convenient for you. Beyond that, good luck on your enrollments, and thank you so much for taking the time to listen.